Right then, everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Stephen Howson, and today I'm going to have a little bit of a look at maybe what someone different to Antonio Conte, who seems to be the favoured candidate of the masses, should Ole Gunnar Solskjaer lose his job, which looks like it could be increasingly likely in the next 3 or so games, with us having Spurs, Atalanta and Manchester City. There seems to be some sort of speculation that if he loses those 3 games, then he could find himself out of a job. Ten Hag seems to be a quite popular candidate, as does Antonio Conte, amongst others. My personal preference is just that I can't stomach the thought of Antonio Conte as a United manager. I really can't. He's just not anything that I think Manchester United stands for. And ultimately, if you don't buy into what a club stands for historically, what stops you just choosing a new club at random at the start of every season? Like, we all want success, but surely doing it our way is what we want the success in. And so many people completely misunderstood my point on Athletic Bilbao. It's hilarious, and it tells me the level of intelligence that some people have got as well when they go, you want United to be like Athletic Bilbao. Well, no, I want us to stand for something like they do, and I don't even necessarily mean I don't want us to stand what they stand for. I just want a club to represent something. Otherwise, what is to stop you changing your name to Milton Keynes Dons and moving 60 miles up the road? A club has to represent something, has to stand for something. So, why Ten Hag over Conte? So far this season, Ajax on a good season, like they generally do, let's be honest with ourselves. They've lost only one match, which was to Utrecht. It was 1-0. They had 70% possession. The overall XG for the game, not that a lot of you are asked, but I am, was 2.7 to 0.6 for Utrecht. So a game that they completely dominated, should have capitalised, but didn't. It does happen. They've scored 49 goals and conceded just 3 times. And you go, Steve, this is Eredivisie. What does that matter? And you have a point to a certain degree in terms of the difficulty of that league. Winning the league with Ajax is almost a bit of a gimme. Now, what you have to do is level it off by, well, what's their performances in the Champions League against comparative sides? Well, they put 4 past Borussia Dortmund unanswered. They smashed Sporting Lisbon 5-1 as well in the Champions League. They've just put 5 past PSV in the Eredivisie to top their league. They're absolutely flying. And it's not just a case of Ten Hag has built a squad. He has repeatedly built squads. He is a guy that has to sell players to maintain, which means that he might not be able to buy those AAA stars, which, okay, United have done a little bit of late. But by and large, Manchester United have been successful when we take someone on the cusp and bring them to the fore. And United have traditionally been a club that succeeds doing that, rather than going out for the top money. We spend really good money on really good prospects and take them into that next level, around the 23 to 25 sort of age, and then carry them for like 5 or 6 years or so as they reach their peak. And since United saw Sir Alex Ferguson retire, we've struggled to really maintain any sort of harmony and stability in a squad. And one thing that I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done, and someone reminded me of this morning, when Ole took us over, I said, one thing I can guarantee is that he is going to leave the club in a better place than he finds it. I think we'd all be 100% in agreement of that, if nothing else, about Ole's reign. And he's managed to find consistency year in, year out with a squad without mercenaries, without any knee-jerk big money signings that don't really have a lot of longevity to them. He's shown that he can recreate title-winning sides. Obviously, they kind of really peaked, certainly internationally, in 2019. He got them to the Champions League semi-final with a lot of homegrown talent. Frankie de Jong, De Ligt, Ziyech. After big clubs come in and swooped and took all 3 of those players, he managed to bounce back, formulate an even stronger side, which is a testament probably to, one, how Ajax is run off the pitch. I don't think you can give all of that credit to Ten Hag, but I think you can give some of that credit to Ten Hag, but also maybe perhaps to Edwin van der Sar and some of the directors of football that are at Ajax. Now, the team boasts players like Ryan Gravenberch, Anthony, Seb Haller, who obviously couldn't cut it at West Ham, is now one of the top scorers in Europe, Lisandro Martinez, and at this moment in time, they look absolutely unstoppable. He seems to have a knack of getting all players to buy in and maximise their abilities, and that genuinely is the one real job of a coach. He could give us structure to our build-up play and in playing out, something that Ajax have been fantastic with. He built his legacy off that Champions League run where they became a lot of neutrals' real favourite club, a run that saw them reach the semi-finals for the first time since 1997, by being in a league that's extremely financially hampered. And they don't really have the finances to compete with the big 4 or 5 leagues around Europe, so doing that is bloody good work. And even though many of those players have now departed, the tactics have stayed relatively similar. He's also been able to refresh and replicate that success. Ajax play what a lot of people would constitute a 4-3-3, the Dutch 4-3-3, if you like. It does look a lot more like a 4-2-3-1 in practice, and even, for those who are big Cruyffians, a 3-4-3 in build-up. Ooh, love it. And anyway, a lot of people would expect of a team that's far and away the best in the league. Ajax do have a strong desire to keep possession of the ball. They love to play out from the back. And not surprisingly, no team keeps more possession than them in Eredivisie. They complete more short passes, a higher percentage of their passes, and that's something that you could look to see Manchester United implement in the current squad. They also have a bit of an experience, or at least Ten Hag has a bit of an experience in dealing with those low blocks. The strategy that Ten Hag uses in terms of overcoming one side of the field during the build-up is particularly useful against teams that hit us with a mid or a low block. It forces the opposition to adapt their structure. They abandon those rigid positions, and Ten Hag's centre-halves also often come together on one side in these moves to overload. And try and force through the ball in that sort of situation. The opposite fullback and central midfielder remain high, so they can look to switch it. And it's quite clever, and it's something I really enjoy, and it's something that I think Ajax do very, very well. Defensive stability. Although Ajax are very accomplished in possession and in attack, and I think that's the most impressive thing about them. They're also excellent defensive unit. Conceding 3 goals all season in all competitions is bloody impressive no matter how you spin it. So much of their defensive structure actually comes of a direct result of trying to own the ball and trying to progress the ball up the pitch. And due to their attempts to overload one side and play in close proximity when they have the ball, they're very well set up to win the ball back right away and restart their attacks. A lot of people like to call this gegenpressing. It is what it is. It's in the mixer there. And that form of counter-pressing could lessen the need for United to have full-pitch, disjointed pressing like we do at the moment, and that we currently see where players are left and the back line is completely exposed. When I look at what the personality traits are of a manager and what he could bring to the job, for me, this is a guy that stands out far and away above anyone else, because I think Manchester United are going to be dealing with the financial constraints. Like, everyone thinks that because we've spent money, we're on some sort of Newcastle thing where we could just spend cash like anything. It's not the case. United don't operate like that. United don't work like that. And United aren't run like that. We've spent money latterly because we had to. But if you look at the second season of both Jose and... actually, it was the third window, wasn't it, for Jose? But basically, you look at some of the summers with some of our managers, and you see they just get absolutely mugged off. When you buy Lee Grant, Fred and Delo as one window for Jose, and the other window we buy Tellers and Van der Beek, and you think, right, okay, we haven't bought first-team players. This summer we bought first-team players, and actually, some of that might have upset the apple cart. I don't know. I don't know what the major underlying issues are for this season that didn't exist in previous seasons. But either way, it hasn't gone too much to plan. I think we'd all agree on that. What I see in Ten Hag is a manager that knows what he wants, has proven ability to implement it into a team, has worked with good technical players, has implemented it on the European stage to a degree. Okay, winning things is better than not winning things. But the success relative to what he's achieved at Ajax is comparable, I think. And obviously we can see what he's like in terms of dealing with losing players on a regular basis. That is difficult. There's not many managers that are able to, one, build a great team for starters in one instance, but then also be at the helm long enough to rebuild that team and replicate that success. Ten Hag has had the patience to be able to do that. And that's something that I think really stands him in good stead. I'm going to read some questions out from you guys. So if you want to get a question in, please join as a member. I'm going to read those out. Christian Shea says, doesn't matter what manager they get unless they get that midfield defence sorted, nothing will ultimately change. I honestly think we've got a bottom half midfield, 2 at least. All Conte would do is just lift the team up and probably get results, but in terms of where we want to be, not the answer, says Ross. Alex says, just don't want Conte's defensive style. We can't do that because it's just not like United. Just going to get mank players, some people. I don't understand that. John says, praying we don't get Conte would be a waste of the last 2 years and a waste of the next 2 years as well. I can see that. United need to stick with Ole like they did with Van Gaal, wait it out until the end of the season, move him on, and go for Ten Hag, or pay all the money for Simeone. Simeone, really? After all of the talk of wanting to play expansive, progressive football, the exciting football, I can remember so many people under both Jose and Louis that were complaining that, do you know what, we're not winning, and I'd rather lose than play this boring football. And then we got that under Ole, and now people are, Simeone, I mean, I appreciate and respect what Simeone does. He's not a Manchester United manager. Ross says the Conte appointment would be just let him in. We need a trophy. Yeah. Christian, Ten Hag rebuilt Ajax with Ajax scouts. The United scouts aren't nearly as adept. That we don't know that for a fact. We don't know whether United choose to go elsewhere when they get their scouting reports. I don't know that if that's necessarily the case. Ross says, when Ole does leave, we shouldn't be celebrating. We should be thanking him for the job done, taking what was a depleted squad into a much more balanced squad. I mean, yeah, we literally might be 1 or 2 midfielders away from having a very, very, very serious squad. Chris says, at this rate, to get the best from the players, getting Rice might actually be worth it, just to familiarity of playing with so many England players. Ross says Ronald Koeman is available. I didn't understand how he managed to get the Barcelona job in the first place. It's no shock, so it's come to an end. But also, you've hamstrung him by not giving him Messi at the same time. Alex says, also think Maguire needs some time out of the team. I would agree with that. Julio says, as much as I like him, Conte is a step backwards or sideways. Ten Hag is a step forward, is a forward-thinking step, and would love to have him. The points made about Ten Hag are positive and should make him a contender. Well, that's just what I think anyway. This is going to be a nice and short and sweet video. But let me know in the comments, what's your shortlist from what you've seen? What are the non-negotiables that you sort of see? For me, Ten Hag represents a lot of what Manchester United are about. They want to own the ball. They want to play with youth. They want to play on the front foot. And he seems to have managed to rebuild a team of it who's depleted. Those things for me are all positives. Those are the sorts of things that I think mean he's much more of a fit than Antonio Conte. You guys let me know in the comments. I'm going to wrap it up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters.